Hi guys, my name is Gifmo Maguju and I'm super happy guys to record another section of the Python programming tutorial guys, and welcome you to this session where I will be covering membership operators, control structures, and functions in Python guys. So this will give you a good start in Python programming. So I hope that you will enjoy it. Okay, without wasting much of your time guys, let me explore the tutorial for you. So let's dive right into it guys. And I will start by creating a folder where I will house my code. Okay, so let's do that. All right, so I come here and okay, right, so first of all, right, that's good. So I come here, right, so within this data visualization in Python, I want to create a folder, right? So to create a folder, you come here and then you select folder like this, and then you see an untitled folder like this. Then you have to click to check this box, and then you have to click on rename. And once you do that, this window will pop out, and then you need to name your directory, right, or your folder. And my folder, I'm gonna name it Python code for beginners, right? Python code for beginners. So this is how you create a folder in Jupyter Notebook guys. So here is my folder, then I have to tap into that folder, and then I have to navigate to the Jupyter Notebook window, and we are good to go guys. So the folder that we've created is going to house all the code that we're going to write here. So let's name our first document here, and I want us to name it let's say I want to start with the membership operators. So yeah, here it's membership operators, right, like this in Python. Membership operators in Python, right? Then once we do that, let us so in this membership operators tutorial, I'm gonna cover how to use the in operator and the not in operator, right? So let's just write that down. Okay, so we have to say, in order to print subheadings, I told you, you press twice the hashtags, right? And then we say membership operators like this, and then we're gonna specify what we will be working with in this tutorial. So the in operator and the not, okay, operators. So guys, press markdown to turn this to text, and like this, then we are good to go. So normally the in operators, these are the membership operators, are used to access data in an array or in a list. Okay, so that's what we want to see here in this tutorial. So let's just write our first code guys. Right, so I want to create a variable. I want to create a list of African countries, right? So let's create a variable called countries here. So let's say countries, and then within the list I want us to have some strings of countries, right? So the first country is gonna be Zimbabwe, right? And the second country is gonna be South Africa, and the third country is gonna be Malawi, and the fourth country is gonna be Mozambique. Okay, so Mozambique. I don't really know the spelling, but I think I'm fine. Mozambique, and then we have to write Zambia right here. So okay, I also have to write Botswana, like this. So here is a list of countries that we have created, right? So if we call this variable countries, it gives us a list of countries, guys. Even if we print this variable, it gives us, countries like what you are seeing right now. All right, so now let's first use the in operator. So let's write here in operator, right? It's super handy in Python, guys. So the in operator, right? So suppose we want to check whether Zimbabwe is within this list that is being represented by the variable countries. How can we do that? Remember, in the past we used to access using like these using the index location, where we use some integers to access the location or to find out if a certain country is within the list, like this. So right, so this is another way as well of checking whether to see Zimbabwe is within the list of African countries, right? So now let's use the in operator. So to use the in operator, you can just say Zimbabwe in countries, right? You can just do this, and then it tells you that Zimbabwe is within the list of African countries, right? Or what you can do, maybe you want to check a certain country that is not, want to check if whether let's say Lesotho is within the list of African countries. So what you can do is you can say Lesotho in countries, right? And then tells you right away that it's false, right? Which means Lesotho is not within the list of countries. Okay, right? So another way that we can use to check that is we can just say, okay, for example, here we can use the print function. So we can say print Zimbabwe in countries, right? Print Zimbabwe in countries, and the same thing, it tells you the same thing, that it's true, right? It's true. Let's check using the now we want to use the not operator. How can we use the not operator in Python? So what we can do right now is we can say, all right, it's fine. We can say Lesotho not in countries. Let's just try this code and see how it works. So here we are saying Lesotho not in countries. Lovely. And it tells you yes, it's not within the list of countries that we have created, right? So let's just try this, guys. I want to try as well. So what if we say not Lesotho in countries? We just want to try it to check, and it works. Either way it works, guys, right? But I prefer this one, Lesotho not in countries, not this way. This is not, I don't recommend you writing code in this, like not Lesotho in countries. It doesn't sound right. But anyway, that's it. You can write your own code whichever way you want. All right, so guys, this is all that I wanted you to know about membership operators. So without wasting much of the time, guys, let's also as well dive into control structures. So let's create another window here. So this is how you create another Jupyter window here, and then we want to rename. You see it's untitled, so let's title it. Let's say control structures, right? Control structures in Python, right? Then once we do this, right, let's also give it a subheading here. Let's say control, let's say control structures here, and we will be talking about we'll be talking about the if, let's say if else and loops, right? Okay, statement while and for loop. Yeah, this, yeah, that's good, that's good. Like this, that's lovely. So let's start with the if else statement. Let's say with the if, right? So what we can do here, we're gonna make use of this example. Like, you know, let's say here it's let's say it's 2 is okay, 2 is greater than 1. That's true, right? Good. So when I say if 2 is greater than 1, do the following: print yes, it's true. Okay, so print yes, it's true, right? Like this. So let's try this code, guys. Wow. So the if statements, they are really powerful. In Python, normally you use if statements. We call it control structures or conditional statements, right? So you normally use these conditional statements or control structures when you are making decisions of whether to come up with something, or you're trying your code to do something, or you are telling your code not to do something. So mostly you want to check something whether it's true, or something whether it's false. Normally it happens whenever you go on to some sites and you want to log in. There's a lot of decision making in the back end there. So guys, yeah, let's as well explore this. So let's say our code is 2 is less than let's try this again. Like if 2 is less than 1, right? Here, okay, let's say print not true, right? Print not true. Let's say our code doesn't execute because the condition there is not true. We all know that 2 is not less than 1, but 2 is greater than 1. So how can we make our code work? Now we can use the else, right? That if 2 is not less than 1, then what next, right? Because here 2, the code is not here we have to write yes, it's true, right? Then here let's give it no, it's not true, right? So now our code works, right? So these are conditional statements in Python that you normally use with decision making. All right, so here let's do this. So I want to say if my age is 27, right? Let's do this. My age is 27, right? I want to check whether I'm eligible to vote. Maybe I'm creating a site where people who are above 18 years, who are 18 and above can vote. So I want to say if age, I want you to understand this, right? If age, right? So I want to say if age, right, is greater than 20, right? If age is greater than 20 or is greater than 18, I want to print you can vote, right? You can vote. Let's see. Yes, our code works because my age is greater than 18, right? Let's create another condition here. So when I say if age if age is below 30, let's say if age is less than 30, what can happen? Print you can go to you let's say you cannot go to clubs. Just just some random thing, guys, not in reality, just for the purposes of education. So you cannot go to clubs, though I know it's not that if you are below 18, things like that, but otherwise let's just use this code. So you cannot go to clubs. Let's try to print this, right? But there's something here that I'm noticing here, right? Let's change this. I want us to change greater than. If age is greater than, you can, okay, let's say you can go to clubs, and our code doesn't work. Why? Because I'm less than 30 years, right? But if I were greater than, so let's do this. Let's use else now. So print you cannot go to clubs if your age is less than things like that. Or you can use another way as well here, because like I told you when I did the tutorial on Python basics on variables and stuff, I told you that the age stores is equivalent to the value, right? It stores. Like here, age is equivalent to 27. So I want us to say if age equals to 27, print it's true, right? If age is equivalent to, print it's true, right? And you see, so the thing that you need to understand there is, the double equal signs, they compare values, right? Whereas a single equal sign, it assigns a value. Like this age, this we use a single equal sign value, and this value is assigned to this variable age. And when you look at here, it's different. Here we are using double equal sign, right? For example, I want to check something. Let's use the input function, right? Just for, let's say, what can I say? Let me say here, let me use like my name here to say, my name is Give More, right? Yeah, my name is Give More. and then I want to use an input function like enter. Okay, enter your name, right? Like I do this, right? For example, if I do this, then that's it. It outputs my name. But we want to set a conditional statement here, like if, right? Let's say here, let's go back to this one. So I want to say if name equals to give more. If name is equal to give more, then I want you to print that's true, right? Else print that's false, right? So now it prompts me to enter my name, and it says that's true. You see, so this is handy, guys, you know, especially even when you use the input function and stuff. Let me do this. So I want to say, let's change, right? So here, let's say if name is not equal to give more, okay, let me go back and do this on this one. So when I just change here, remember, firstly I use the double equal sign. So here, let's say here, let's see what will happen, right? And then I do this. Let's say I say Tawanda, and it says that's false. You see, that's false, right? Let me check to see what if I input give more here. So if you see, because we have set the condition here, because we say name is equivalent to give more, so how can it not be equivalent to give more? So these are these are the control structures, you know. These are so handy, and you know, you can find them handy in Python, and you can use decision making in your code. That's where it happens, you know. So yeah, let's do another quick example here. So one thing that I want you to understand is right, I want to set as well, I want to set age I want to set age is 18, like here, right? So once I set the age to 18, I want to say if let's say okay, no problem. What I wanted to show you guys is, all right, what I wanted to show you is if I say age is equals to 18, right, and we come here and then we say print. So if we say print age equals to 18, like here, it says true. And if we say print age is not equal to 18, is not equal to 18, it says false, right? So this is quite handy and fine. Then I want to show you as well something cool, like if I say yeah, I think basically for now, yeah, that's enough. That's enough for this tutorial video. So guys, yeah, I think you can now appreciate this whole thing here, and it's super handy, guys, and I hope you have learned a lot. And yeah, guys, this is lovely and this is cool. So let's proceed. Now we want to look at the while loop here. So let me just write this down, like while loop. right? So while loop, yeah. So what I want to explain something about while loop, right? So one thing that you need to know about while loop is a while loop, it checks the code before execution. I will show you how in a minute. It checks the code before execution, right? And you can use a while loop in when you know how often you want to iterate something in your code, right? That's when you can use the while loop in Python, right? When you know how often you want to iterate your code, or when you know how often you want to iterate something, right? Then you use a for loop, right? You can use a for loop to check your code until something happens, or you can use a for loop, when you want to run your code until a certain condition is no longer met, right? So yeah, let me just show you that in a minute. So let's start with the while loop. So let's set the counter to 0, and let's use this and say while counter is less than 10, right? Then here wanna say print counter, and then we need to say, in order for us to limit that to because here you see, whilst we execute our code, it will print out the numbers from 0 to 9, because it won't get to. So in order, since we have set the counter to 0, in order to print 1, 2, 3 and stuff, we need to add the +1 for the while loop, for our while loop code to print from 0 to 9. Okay, so let me show you that. So we can say counter is equals to counter +1, right? And then if you do this, you see our while loop, it prints the code from 0 to 9. So since here you can check the counter value is 0, right? So what was happening with the code is, it was saying, now it said 0 + 1, and we get 1, and then we say 1 + 1, it gives us 2 and stuff, going beyond. All right, and then let's check at the for loop, right? Let's check at the for loop, right? How we can use the for loop, right? So what this is how the for loop works. So we say, remember here I said that it checks the code before executing. Like here we set the counter here and while stuff, and checks this code before doing the execution part. But let's check here. So we say let's say for I, right? Let's say for I in this range 0 to 10, right? Then I want to say print I, right? Okay, let me do this. I think I've left out something here. So if I say for I, okay, I left out range, so you need to add the range there. So if I say for I in range 0 to between 0 and 10, print I, right? So the thing is, with for loops, like, you use it to check your code until a certain condition is not met. So I want us to check something out here. So let me do an example. So I want to say an example of let's say what let me say languages. I think languages that I'm good at, right? So like here, I want to create that list. Like, I'm good in Shona, I'm good in English, let's say I'm also good in Zulu, right? Then once I do that, right, I want to call out this languages and stuff in the, all right, so we want to output these elements using a for loop, right? So what I can do here is I can come here and I say for language, right? For language in languages, then I do this, then I say print language, like this. And let's see, you see, so it prints out Shona, English, things like that. You see, you can even print, yeah. So basically that's how the for loop works, right? I think for those who have used Django really understand that whenever we want to bring out or want to display a list of elements that are in our database, or whether we're creating a blog and stuff, want to display a list of blogs, we normally use a for loop there, especially those tags, right? But otherwise, guys, this is lovely, and this is also very, 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 very handy. And then I want to show you something that I forgot to mention in the membership operators, like here, but I will show you here in this code. So let's create a new cell above here. So what we can do right now is we can say, all right, let's create our variable here. We can say ZW, we can say ZA, we can say, I don't know now, for Malawi, what do we use for Malawi? Malawi, I don't know, guys, just this, right? Then right, so what I want right now is, let's create a cell above, right? So what I want is, I want to check whether ZW is within this countries list, is right. So what I can do is, I want to use the in operator and everything and stuff. So I want to say if ZW in countries, right, print yes. That's lovely. Then let's create a cell below. Lovely. Then what we can do right now is we can check, we can say if let's say BW, things like that, Botswana, BW not in countries, then print, what do you want to print? I want to print true, right? So yeah, this is handy, guys. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this and you will practice, and yeah, that's how you master these things. You need to keep on practicing every day and yeah, stuff. Then now I think we have covered membership operators, the if else and stuff. We've also covered the control structures, the control structures, if else, while, for loops and stuff. So I think it's now good that we touch on functions, right? We touch on functions. So let's create another Jupyter window there. I think this is the last one. Then in the next Python tutorial, I'll cover object-oriented programming. Yeah, so let's just dive right into this, guys. So lovely. Then I want to say functions. I want to say functions in Python, right? And what I want to do right now is I want to, let's well say functions, right? just functions only. Right, so let's just start with this lovely example. So normally we use functions to define something. We use functions to do something. We wanna tell our system to do something, things like that. So let's just dive right into it. And functions are very common in Python, and you will see when we will cover object-oriented programming. And for those who have used Django, they can attest to this, that functions are really super cool. So lovely guys, so let's say def. So what I want to do right now is we want to say it's just a random function that I want to create just now. So I want to say, so whenever I create this function and whenever I call out this function, it does something, right? Like here, I might say print my name is Gizmo, right? Whenever I call this function. So to call this function, you come here and you do this. That's how you call this function. So you call it using the name of the function that you've defined. Def here, it stands for definition, or defining something. We are defining a function, a custom function that we want to use in our code, like what I've just done. So what is mostly common in functions are parameters and arguments. Those are the things that you need to understand. So we say parameters and arguments, right? You really need to grasp these concepts if you want to succeed in using functions and stuff. So as you can see in our code here, our code doesn't have a parameter, right? So a parameter is something that you specify within your function name right here, and your argument is something that you define just here when you call out your function name. So let's define something like here. Wanna define something like here. Let's say def define the age, what can I say, the age function. So within this age function, I wanna say age 1. I want to say age and age 1. So these two, we call them parameters. You need to understand this. These are parameters. These are the things that we want to deal with in our function. And then here we say print. I think you need to understand this. So when I say print age, age plus age 1. That's what we want to do with our code, right? So let's call out our function. So we say here, now we define the numbers, right? So let's say 18 and 27, and let's observe what will happen to our code. So you see our code so these are the arguments that I've passed just right here. These are the arguments, right? So yeah, the total age right here is 45. So basically this is how you come up with a function. Let's say we want to come up with a function that multiplies two things, right? So let's say def mult underscore ply, just that, right? So what we want to do is we want to, let's say we've got the price of a product, so let's say price, and we've got the quantity, right? We've got price and quantity. Then what we can do just right here is we can say print price times quantity, you see. And then when we call out our function here, we say multiply right? And then we say, what's the price of this? Let's say we are selling let's say tomatoes, right? And tomatoes are going for $5 per kg, right? So let's say 5, and then we've got 2 kgs right here. So such that if we call this, okay, no problem, I wasn't supposed to use this one because I've defined here, right? So right here I'm just saying, right, so it's $10, you see, things like that. So basically that's how it is. And you know what yeah, so these are the functions, that's how functions work and stuff. So that's what I wanted you guys to understand, the parameters and the arguments. These are very critical for your understanding of functions. So guys, thank you so much for watching my YouTube videos, and I'm so grateful. And guys, please may you subscribe on the subscribe icon, and don't forget to like my videos and share with your peers. Thank you so much guys, God bless you.